All right. I'm going to try to be as rational as I can in this episode, so we'll see what's up. Welcome to the show. Let's get to the intro.
Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. November.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. My God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. I hope we're all having a good Christmas holiday season. It's December 22nd. Technically, as I speak, it's way past midnight. It's 1:30 in the morning. I just had we just had some family at the home this week. Jesus Christ, can you tell it's 1:30? We just had some family at the home. We had some family over today, so I was busy and didn't get to react to this Goldschmidt trade. So that's what we're going to do in this episode if I can stay awake and speak clearly enough. About 12 hours ago, Paul Goldschmidt was traded to the Yankees, or signed with the Yankees. There we go. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the moves that happened prior to that, like the Christian Walker deal, like the Jose Trevino deal. So that's what's going to happen here for episode 766 on the podcast. So thank you for tuning in to BD4. I appreciate it so much. So let's get into it without further ado. Going back to, here we are. Going back to a couple days ago, right? This was on Thursday, maybe? Thursday or Friday. Christian Walker signed with the Houston Astros. That pretty much put the nail in the coffin, and everyone was like, all right, the Yankees are now definitely going to sign Paul Goldschmidt. But Christian Walker signed with Houston for $60 million over 3 years. Because the New York Yankees, Cashman, was afraid to lose a draft pick. He had already lost some draft capital in the Max Fried deal. Again, for a team that's supposed to be in this win now window, Cashman, another infamous quote that might turn into another meme, the no retreat, no surrender, except for when draft picks are involved. Then we'll let Christian Walker fly straight to Houston to play for the Astros for bus money, right? For $20 million AAV steal because of a draft pick. I'm sorry. Just like half the people celebrating the Yankees keeping their draft pick versus signing a Christian Walker probably have no clue that the Yankees did give up significant capital in the Fried deal. Because we truly don't care. Let's be honest. You don't care. If we got Walker, not a single soul would care about the draft pick. Nobody would talk about it, just like nobody's talking about it because we got Fried. We're so worried about some senior in high school in fucking Piscataway, New Jersey right now, right? This next Italian-American kid we're trying to draft. Who knows? Whoever it is. We're so worried about some kid who has no idea he's going to be a Yankee in soon time. Right? Only for him to eventually be manipulated for service time when he does get here. And I just feel like more should be on the now. You know, I'm kind of tired of hearing about the Yankees prioritizing draft picks and international pool money and luxury tax. Like, it's just, like, imagine trying to string together a competent lineup with that as your number one priority. And I really do think tax had a lot to do with not signing Walker. I know the big reason was because he declined the QO, they lose their draft pick. But I do think payroll has a lot to do with some of these moves, and it's odd to me because the Yankees are already paying, like the Yankees are paying north of $60 million in salary to Judge and Stanton every year. And in addition to that, they're paying boatloads of money to the top half of the rotation. So you think at this point they'd know, in order to fill out the rest of the lineup with quality, that they're probably going to need to exceed the tax by a bit. Like there's no other way to improve the lineup with who you already have on your payroll. You know, if Judge is already on payroll, Stanton's already on payroll. So it's going to be hard to navigate that as it is. So Paul Goldschmidt signs with the Yankees for $12.5 million to put the Yankees at the moment $3.5 million over the tax, I believe. Stroman is expected to be moved at some point. You know that's going to happen. Maybe you can tie in Grisham's $5 million, which would leave the Yankees with room for one more decent contract if you could move both those guys. I don't know if you want to move both of them because you already moved Trevino. But it would leave them room for another decent contract if somebody just ate all of Stroman's money. As for Paul Goldschmidt himself, you know, if you couldn't get the vibe, I'm not the biggest fan of this move. I don't hate it. Okay, you asked me 10 hours ago when I found out the news, probably have a different opinion. I don't hate it. Like, sure, you know, he's a great glove at first base and some other things, but like the bat's not the same. He's kind of, it could be washed. He's very old, you know, and I think the funniest part of this whole thing is like the spin zone. A lot of Yankees fans are talking themselves into it already. When they probably know deep down it's not the enticing move. Like a lot of Yankees fans I see right now, I'm on Twitter, grasping at straws to find positives. Like I know a first baseman that we didn't have to do that with to find positives. But hey, draft picks. But yeah, it's like, well, you know what? He hits lefties, and we struggled against lefties last year. So, like, he can hit less than 30% of the league. That means, like, I get we struggled against lefties, but when the priorities, like, that hitting lefties is a priority of mine. I hammered that last season. It's not the thing at the very top of my list. If I'm choosing talent over Paul Goldschmidt, I'm going to choose the better talent at the moment. You know, and we got people talking about his second half. Look at the metrics in the second half of the season. Look at his metrics in the first half of the season. Like, you guys are cherry picking just to find positives. And I get it. It's human nature. You know, and again, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of great things to come out of this. There are a lot of aspects of the game that Paul Goldschmidt helps you in. I think it's great that he hits lefties, you know, on a team that struggled too. I think it's great that he had this good second half and that the metrics backed him up. You know, I think it's great that he's this guy who comes in with a Hall of Fame resume and he's a former MVP and he's got postseason experience and success hitting in the postseason. You know, I think it's great that he's a Gold Glove first baseman. I think it's great that he's very durable and plays 150 plus every year. I think it's great that the price tag's cheap and it's only a 1-year deal. I get all of that. That's going to help. But the bottom line, in my opinion, always comes down to offense winning and offense trumping everything in today's game. And last season, Paul Goldschmidt posted a 302 on base percentage with a 98 OPS plus. So he was very mediocre. He's also 37 years old, and the metrics last year took a steep decline from what he was in 2023. So I'm looking at this Yankees lineup, and it's a little shaky to me. You know, it's very unpredictable with the potential to be solid, but also the potential to be very rough. You know, it's unpredictable, and this doesn't help that. This only makes it more dodgy, like, if that's the right term. I'm struggling to find out what we're doing. Like, is there direction with this lineup other than adding or maintaining balance, right? Left-right balance. Like, again, the Yankees, after the Trevino move and with this Goldy move, are 3.5 over. So if they can move, let's say they can move all of Stroman and all of Grisham, that would make them $20 million below the tax, right? What would they do with that money? There are things they can do, and bringing in Nolan freaking Arenado was not one of them. I don't want to get even older, but like, your options are getting smaller and smaller. You're only, the only two decent bats, in my opinion, left on the free agent market, maybe 3, 4. Santander, Hernandez, Alonso, Bregman. Well, 3 of those guys you can't get because they play positions that are now occupied. And I just don't see Bregman happening. If it does, then I'm cool. If the Yankees go out there and they sign in Alex Bregman after moving Stroman and or Grisham, and they're barely over the tax, and that's great. That's great. Then I'm cool with Goldschmidt. But I don't know if I see that happening. I feel like they lost their chance at a solid lineup with the Christian Walker to Houston deal. The only saving grace would be if they signed Bregman or if they made this Yandy and Lau trade. If they made the Tampa Bay trade that everyone's been talking about. Those are the only 2 things, in my opinion, that can salvage the rest of this winter. Bottom line being, the Yankees had a number of attractive options at the very beginning of the winter, and now we're sitting here December 22nd, and they couldn't land those guys, right? A lot of the attractive bats that I considered good quality guys to help you replace number 22, they're all off the market. Soto's gone, Willie Adames is gone, Kyle Tucker's gone, Christian Walker's gone. So make all the excuses you want and yap away, yell this, this excuse, that excuse. Like, I just, like, at the end of the day, those players are not in pinstripes. The richest organization in the world. Welcome to Walmart. How may I help you? Like, you're banking on a lot. You're banking on so much to go right. It could very well turn into another situation where it's Aaron Judge and friends, right? Judge is like the only guarantee to hit next season. Who else is guaranteed to consistently produce? Stanton's a year older. He's going to get hurt at some point. Your 3 prospects, Volpe, Wells, Dominguez, very unpredictable. How do you know if you're going to get linear progress from Volpe and Wells? You don't know what you're getting from Dominguez. Cody Bellinger, even he's unpredictable. Look at his year-to-year numbers. You don't know what you're getting. I love the Bellinger move, but I loved it if it came with something even greater than him. or as equal. But I don't consider Goldy that. I think Goldschmidt's just like at a point where he could very well bounce back, but at the same time, he could very well have a similar season or worse to last year because he's 37. So the Yankees are taking this 2015 KC Royals type route in 2025, where offensive production is even more paramount. I love the fact that they're doubling down on pitching and defense, but they could have improved the lineup along the way. But you wanted to keep draft picks over Christian Walker. But you might not sign an Alex Bregman because it puts you over the tax. And you want to keep Luis freaking Heel as opposed to Kyle Tucker because you're worrying about 2 years from now in a window where you need to capitalize on the end of Judge Cole and Stanton's prime. In a rotation as deep as it is already. You know, it's the polar opposite of what's supposed to be win at all costs. And now they're banking on the trade deadline, you know. And if they're scrambling for offensive production by the trade deadline, they're going to be leveraged like crazy. I feel like the deadline should be about in-season issues, but the offseason should be about what happened from last year, fixing that. And I just feel like the Yankees are still one strong move away from making everybody happy. But I don't know if that move's going to come now. To stop here would be a little disappointing. And I think they're going to stop here. I don't know. I wanted to talk about the Trevino trade. I don't know if I'm going to get into that in this episode, but I liked it. Obviously got some money off the books, but bringing in a guy like Fernando Cruz, who's got a nasty splitter. He's older, but he's got a really good splitter from what I hear. He's got very good swing and miss stuff. This is another Matt Blake project, right? Something we've joked about here. You know, I call it the Cashman-Blake special. Cashman brings in a random, Blake turns him into a brand name. That's how it's worked in this pen over the last 5 years or so. So I'm interested to see how they use Fernando Cruz. Got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but the splitter is very effective. It's a nasty splitter. So I think they could tap into that, and maybe he could turn into a quality arm. But overall, the way the offseason's going, I can't say that I love it. I can't say that I strongly dislike it. I'm somewhere in the middle, still trying to figure out myself if I love it or if I like it or not. Definitely don't love it. But you went to your rotation and you added a legitimate 1B. That was an issue last season. You went into your bullpen and you added more swing and miss. That was an issue last season. You went around the diamond. You put Judge back in right field, possibly Dominguez back in center field. You're putting Goldschmidt at first base, Jazz possibly going back to second base. Torres and Soto were gone. So you're fixing your infield and outfield defense. That was an issue last year. Speed and athleticism. That was a problem last year. Bellinger's in the mix. Dominguez is in the mix. That's good. Lineup balance. You're maintaining a good balance of lefties and righties and switch. Last season, the Yankees had problems hitting left-handed pitching. Adding somebody like Goldschmidt, again, that's great. You're adding in more guys with MVP experience in Bellinger and Goldschmidt. So there are good things to take away from this offseason. And if you don't think this offseason that the Yankees made good moves, I think you're nuts. Now, if you think that, I think you should either be in the stance of, I think, it's been a good offseason. Considering they lost Juan Soto and this was the pivot, it's been fine. I just feel like there were avenues to make it a little more than fine. And maybe the saving grace in all of this is that the American League is very, very, very weak. And the Yankees could possibly make another move. I gotta wait. I gotta see what happens. Does Hal go over the tax? If he does want to go over the tax, how much does he go over by? 10, 20 million? Do the Yankees make another bigger move? If they do, does it come this winter or does it come in August? So we'll see. But with that said, that's going to be it for this episode. We're going to wrap it up right here. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Episode 766, the Yanks bring in Paul Goldschmidt. We'll see what happens. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm kind of in the middle, but I'm leaning towards not loving the way this offseason is going. I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is a good, very good pitching team. It's a very good defensive team now. I look at the lineup and I kind of I just get this unserious vibe. You're banking on so much. So I don't want to say this could end up like 2023 and they miss the postseason because I don't think that's going to happen next year. I think they'll make the postseason. And anybody saying they won't, I think is out of their mind. But is it a World Series team? Am I confident they can get back to where they were last year and win it? No. But we'll see. So I appreciate you all tuning in. I'm going to wrap it up here and go to bed because I'm tired and I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself. So Merry Christmas. I don't know when I'll be back up on the show. It'll be later in this week. I'm going on vacation, so I'll miss a few Knicks games. And I should be back by Thursday, maybe Friday, the latest. So appreciate you all tuning in. I'll see you soon. Merry Christmas. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.